"Mom, he's my brother," said little Lucas, just 6 years old, as he pointed at a barefoot boy sitting on the sidewalk. His mother, millionaire businesswoman Sofia del Rio, stopped in shock. The afternoon sun gleamed off the glass towers of downtown Madrid as Lucas, dressed perfectly in a navy blue suit, held his mother's hand. They had just left a fundraising gala at the luxurious Imperial Hotel, where Spain's wealthiest families sipped champagne and exchanged polite laughter. Lucas, as usual, was quiet, polite, and used to silence. His mother, Sofia, was known for her grace, a tall woman in beige heels and crisp suits, walking through life as if everything were scheduled and settled. But nothing could have prepared her for what was about to happen. As they turned down Alcalá Street, Lucas suddenly stopped, his grip tightening on her hand. "Lucas?" she asked, glancing down. "What is it?" He didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the edge of the sidewalk, where crouched against a garbage bin was a boy, barefoot, shirtless, covered in dust. He looked about 8 years old, his ribs pressed against his skin, his eyes hollow with hunger. In his hands was a crumpled cardboard sign that read, "Food." The two boys stared at each other, and then Lucas whispered, "Mom, that's my brother." Sofia blinked. "I beg your pardon?" "His name is Elias," Lucas said, his voice shaking. "He used to give me food when we were little, in the place with the green beds. When I had nightmares, Mom, he held my hand." Sofia frowned. "Lucas, sweetheart, you've never had a brother?" "Yes, I did," he said firmly. "Before you and Dad brought me here. When I didn't have suits. When I was cold." Sofia felt a tightness in her chest. Something she hadn't felt in years. She looked again at the boy. His dark eyes met hers, not begging, not angry, just watching. She tried to pull Lucas away. "Come on, darling, let's keep walking." But Lucas yanked his hand away. "No," he shouted. "He's my big brother. He always shared with me, even when he was hungry too." People turned. Cars slowed. Sofia's face turned red. But Lucas walked toward the boy. His small shoes tapped on the pavement. The name Elias echoed in his chest like it was carved in his bones. They didn't look alike. Elias was taller, rougher, older, but none of that mattered, because once Elias had been the only person in the world who cared for him. "Elias," Lucas whispered. The boy looked up slowly, as if unsure he was dreaming. Something cracked in his face. His jaw trembled. "Lukey?" Lucas ran forward, throwing his arms around the boy's neck. Elias didn't move at first. Then slowly he raised a hand and placed it on Lucas's back. Sofia stood frozen, her hand still in the air. This wasn't imagination. This was memory. It had happened 5 years ago, when Lucas was just over a year old. Sofia and her husband had adopted him through a private agency overseas. The process had been smooth, the records minimal. They were told he had been abandoned and lived briefly in foster care. No one told them he had someone with him. No one mentioned Elias. As people gathered, Sofia stepped forward. You know each other." Elias looked up, shielding his eyes from the sun. "I used to feed him my porridge when the workers forgot," he said softly. "I told him stories at night. He didn't talk much, but he always fell asleep next to me." "Why are you here?" she asked in a whisper. Elias looked down. "They didn't take me. Said I had breathing problems. Said no one would want me." He didn't cry. He didn't ask for anything. He just held Lucas in his arms, like a boy who had held him through storms before. Sofia realized then her son hadn't found a stranger. He had found someone he already loved. That night, Sofia sat at her mahogany desk, tears streaking her designer makeup. The house was silent. Lucas had cried himself to sleep, whispering Elias's name like a prayer. Sofia wasn't emotional. She was a woman of facts and business, but she couldn't stop staring at the photo on her phone. Lucas holding that street boy like he'd never let go. And Elias sitting still, like he couldn't believe he was being remembered. At midnight, Sofia called her private investigator. "I need everything. Adoption records, orphanage files, hospital data. If there is another boy, his name is Elias. I want to know why they were separated." The next day, what they found shook her. Lucas and Elias had come from the same orphanage, same intake week, same room, same weight, same height. One record listed them together until someone had crossed out Elias's name with red ink and written "unfit adoption not recommended." Just like that, he was erased. Sofia's hands trembled as she read it again and again. No one told her there had been two boys. The next morning, she returned to the same street with Lucas, praying Elias was still there. He was. He sat in the same spot, this time holding an untouched sandwich from a kind passerby. His eyes lit up when he saw Lucas, who ran to him instantly. Sofia knelt beside them. "Elias, I want to take you home," she said gently, "at least until we figure this out." Elias looked up, stunned. "Why?" "Because I should have asked about you a long time ago," she said softly. "And because my son, your brother, never stopped remembering you." In the following days, Sofia pulled every string: emergency placement, legal action, DNA test. On the 6th day, just before dawn, her lawyer handed her the results. 99.9% sibling match. Not by blood, but by bond, by care, by love, by everything that had once held them together. Sofia held a press conference, not for fame, but for accountability. "We adopted Lucas thinking we were giving a child a second chance," she said, "but we never knew he already had someone who loved him like a brother. We were never told. And that omission stole 5 years from two children who needed each other." Her voice cracked. "This is Elias," she said, placing her hand gently on his shoulder as he stood nervously beside Lucas. "He's not broken. He's not less. He's brave, and from this day forward, he's home." The crowd stood. Some cried. And Elias, for the first time in years, smiled. Months passed. Elias started school, his very first classroom. He struggled with letters, but excelled at math. Every morning, Lucas held his hand, introducing him with pride. "This is my big brother." Sofia enrolled him in therapy, nutrition support, art classes. But more than anything, she gave him what he'd never had: a bed, a nameplate, a spot on the family photo wall, and a future. On his 9th birthday, she gave him something else, small, worn, priceless. A laminated copy of the cardboard sign that once read, "Food." Below, in golden ink, she had written, "You asked for food. You gave love. Now you both have everything." Some families are made by chance. Others are made by children who refuse to forget each other. And Lucas, he didn't just find a lost boy on the street. He found the part of himself that had always been missing: a brother. Forever.